In the Middle Ages, witch trials took place in the city of Salem. I don't know if the women accused of witchcraft back then were witches or not, but my mom believed they were. Hi, I'm Selena. My mom had roots in Salem and thought our ancestors were witches. Since mom couldn't brew potions or fly on a broomstick, she decided to become an astrologer.
OMG! Mercury is in retrograde today! We're all going to die!
Does it mean I don't have to go to school? That's my older sister Brianna. Let's blow up Mercury! And that's Courtney, the middle child in our family. I was the youngest, but I was smarter than both my sisters combined. Brianna and Courtney tried to imitate our mom. They believed in horoscopes and all sorts of other nonsense. By the way, do you believe in horoscopes? Don't get me wrong, I'm not judging. It's just that astrology has always sounded like pseudoscience to me. I like it when there are clear answers. Sometimes I felt like I was born with a calculator built into my head. Even when I was a kid, I could solve complex equations and extract square roots in my head. One day, I was leaving for school with an essay I'd been working on for a whole week when Mom suddenly grabbed my arm and stopped me.
The moon is in the 3rd house today. You shouldn't go anywhere or bad things will happen to you.
Well, something bad will happen if I don't go to school. I won't get a perfect score for my essay. Selena, you're a Scorpio! You're in danger! Naturally, instead of listening to them, I went to school and nailed my presentation. However, when I was going back to my seat, I suddenly stumbled and fell. I told you to stay at home! My sisters and I grew up, but nothing changed. Well, except I became even smarter and won even more medals. Mom started making birth charts and my sisters became obsessed with finding boyfriends. Brianna and Courtney were beautiful, but not the sharpest tools in the toolbox. If I were a guy, I would have stayed away from them. Don't get me wrong, I loved my sisters. It's just that sometimes they really pissed me off. One day, Dad came back from work looking excited. An old friend of his, Mr. Hansen, had called him and invited him to his anniversary party.
The Hansens are rich. They live in Norway and said we could stay at their place. The stars told me today is going to be a great day.
I didn't mind going to Norway, but then Dad said something that made me want to stay at home.
The Hansens have a son, Loki. He's a very nice young man.
When Dad showed us the photo of Loki, Brianna and Courtney melted like ice cream on a hot summer day. They were all but drooling. Mom immediately looked at the horoscope and beamed.
Girls, Loki will fall for one of you. Our in-laws are going to be rich.
Loki is such a beautiful name. He's like the son of Zeus. Are you dumb? Loki is a Slavic god. Actually, he's from the Scandinavian mythology. As usual, no one listened to me. A few days after that, we arrived at Oslo's largest airport. The capital of Norway greeted us with humidity and fog. The Hansens' house turned out to be huge and beautiful. Mr. and Mrs. Hansen were very nice people. Loki wasn't at home when we arrived. Brianna and Courtney looked gutted. I was over the moon when I found out I would have my own room. I was going to take part in a cool math competition soon and planned to study a lot. My family stayed at home, but I went to the library. It was only a few blocks away. Soon I borrowed a ton of books on math and headed back home. I'll be honest, trying to carry that many books wasn't my brightest idea, but I didn't know how to get a taxi in Norway yet. Soon I bumped into someone. Oh! Ouch! The guy almost fell off his e-scooter. Before I could apologize, he snapped at me.
Watch where you're going! I just bought this scooter and now there's a scratch on it because of you.
You should have been more careful too. He had steam coming out of his ears. I picked up my books and left before he could go ballistic again. In the evening, we had dinner with the Hansens. Loki finally came home and… Oh, come on! Are you serious? Loki was the rude guy I'd run into.
Sorry, I'm a bit late.
Were you polishing the scratches on your scooter? Brianna and Courtney spent the evening pestering Loki with silly questions and trying to get him to notice them. Mom told the Hansens about astrology and made some scary predictions. Mr. Hansen, you shouldn't go to work tomorrow, or leave the house at all, actually. Oh, Loki, you have such great muscles. I can feel them even through the clothes. Your eyes are the color of swamp water. I went back to my room, turned on my laptop, and opened a website with math tests. I had to pass them to take part in the competition. I kept trying to concentrate but could hear my sisters' voices in the next room. I'm the eldest, so I should get married first. Loki is mine, but I'm smarter and more beautiful than you. I had to put earplugs in my ears to block them out. The next day, we went for a walk around the city with the Hansons, and I felt like ripping my own hair out. I wanted to enjoy the view of the Opera House and the Royal Palace, but my sister's chatter was driving me up the wall. They acted like Loki was the last guy in the world. Meanwhile, he kept texting someone and barely seemed to notice them. But at some point, Brianna saw an ice cream stall and bought several flavors for Loki. I don't know what you like, so I got you several flavors. By the time Loki looked away from his phone, the ice cream had melted and Brianna's hands were dirty. I thought she looked terribly stupid, but for some reason, Loki found it cute.
Thank you. You're very sweet.
Oh, Loki, you're so polite. Where was that politeness when you bumped into me?
You almost crushed me with your books.
You should give reading a try. Selena, mind your manners. I got mad and spent the rest of the evening walking around the city alone. For the next few days, Loki and Brianna were inseparable. Brianna even drew his portrait. It looked ugly as heck, but Loki pretended to like it. Courtney tried to get in the way of their happiness. For example, when Loki and Brianna were watching TV, she poured cranberry juice on Brianna. Ah! Brianna was allergic to cranberries, and red spots immediately appeared all over her skin. Oh, sweetie, the stars warned us about this. One morning, I went for a run. Yeah, don't look so surprised. I didn't just read books and work on my computer, but did sports as well. At some point, I noticed Loki. He was hiding in the bushes while Brianna walked past them. Loki, where are you? Selena, have you seen Loki? I looked in his direction and our eyes met. The urge to rat him out was strong. I think he went into that store. Brianna took off like a hound that caught a scent. I wondered why the Hansons hadn't kicked us out yet. It was a madhouse, but they put up with it and even suggested something interesting.
We're going to climb the Trolltunga. Join us.
My parents weren't athletic. Mom started wheezing even when she climbed the stairs. It was no wonder they declined the invitation, but Brianna and Courtney immediately agreed to go. You do realize this is a difficult hike and not a pony ride, right? I couldn't talk my sisters out of coming. The Hansons brought us to a store so we could buy special boots for trekking. What a weird color! They're ugly! They are so comfortable and fit perfectly! While we were trying on the boots, Loki took out his phone and went back to texting someone. The next morning, we set out on first light and arrived in a small town called Otta. The view and the atmosphere were spectacular. The day after that, our hike began. At first, we walked several miles along a serpentine path. It didn't take long for Brianna to start whining. I'm tired and my feet hurt. We had to stop every 10 minutes because of her. Will you carry me, Loki? I wondered when the Hansons would run out of patience. 3, 2, 1.
Maybe you should turn back before it's too late.
Loki is right, Brianna. The hike is only going to get harder from now on. Brianna burst into tears and headed back to the hotel. The path to the Trolltunga was difficult, but the view was to die for. While I was admiring a mountain lake, Courtney twisted her ankle and fell right on top of Loki.
Be careful!
Oh, you're so strong! Jeez, I was sick of such scenes. Please tell me I wasn't the only one. When we reached the top of Trolltunga, I felt like I was on top of the world. We took beautiful selfies and set up tents. The sunset that day was magical. I was looking at the fjords when my eyes fell on Loki. At that moment, he looked like a real Scandinavian god. Oh, pretend you didn't hear that. I wasn't Brittany or Courtney and wasn't interested in stupid romance. When we came back to Otta, Loki apologized to Brianna and said they couldn't be together.
I only see you as a friend. Sorry.
Brianna threw a temper tantrum when she heard that. She cried and stamped her feet like a little child. Courtney was on cloud 9, though. It's no wonder. Now she had a chance. Soon, the day of Mr. Hanson's anniversary arrived. A lot of guests came to the party. They were all successful and rich. As soon as slow music started to play, Courtney asked Loki for a dance. She grabbed his arm and pulled him to the center of the room. Brianna was crying and nervously biting her nails. Admittedly, Courtney and Loki looked amazing together. If only Courtney could keep her mouth shut. At some point, a famous business coach came up to the Hansons.
I'm going to be holding a training session for young people soon. The tickets are going to be expensive, but Loki can join us for free. He will be there. I want my son to achieve everything by himself and not rely on my money.
Mr. Hanson, have you read the horoscope I sent you? Loki has the moon in Capricorn. You should take that into consideration. They're so weird. Everyone in their family is. At that moment, I wanted to sink through the floor. Desperate to avoid the guests, I stepped outside and there... I'm sorry, what? Were my eyes deceiving me or was Loki kissing Courtney? I didn't want to go back to the party, so I came to my room, turned on the laptop and looked at my test results. Yay! I got the highest score! The next morning, I decided to return all the books to the library. As I was leaving the house, I bumped into Loki. Are you kidding me? I almost dropped the books, but Loki helped me catch them.
Are you trying to finish me off?
You're the one who keeps getting in my way. To my surprise, Loki smiled and offered me help. It was so unexpected that I agreed. Together, we brought the books to the library and put them back on the shelves. At some point, I noticed that Loki was holding a textbook. Do you like the exact sciences too?
I do, especially physics. I even won a couple competitions.
My jaw dropped and my eyes bugged out. Ouch!
I always ended up saving everyone.
Remind me to give you a knight's badge. We left the library together, but instead of heading home, Loki suggested we go for a walk.
Let me show you the best places in town. Tourists don't know about them.
Loki took me to a themed courtyard, bought me street food, and then brought me to the roof with the best view in the city. I never thought I'd say this, but I had a great time. Why are you acting so kind all of a sudden?
I still think you're insufferable, but you're also interesting. I'm tired of your sisters. You kissed Courtney yesterday. She kissed me. I said I didn't see her that way and she lost it.
Well, that definitely sounded like my sister. Our eyes met. A strange feeling bloomed inside of me, and for some reason I blushed. Then Loki suddenly got a text and the moment was broken. We spent the next few days together. Loki would jog with me in the mornings, and then we would go for a walk. Of course, we didn't tell anyone, least of all my sisters. One day, Brianna almost caught us. We hid in the bushes I'd once seen Loki in. Our faces were so close, I turned red as a tomato again. After Brianna passed us by, I pushed Loki away and quickly left. That evening, instead of preparing for the competition, I lay in bed and thought about him. It was time to get a grip on myself. I wasn't like my dumb sisters. We were supposed to go back home the next day. When I came down to the living room in the morning, I heard voices. I hope Loki will make us proud today.
This is a great opportunity for him. I promise to give him a car if he succeeds.
Were they talking about that training session? I went to Loki's room to wish him luck, but he wasn't there. I was about to leave when I saw his phone on the table. A photo of my sisters caught my attention. What was that about? When I picked up his phone, I was left speechless. It turned out Loki had been texting his friends about my family the whole time. He sent them ridiculous pictures and wrote all sorts of nasty things about us. He called Brianna and Courtney stupid and photoshopped my face into a picture of a worm holding a book. He even bragged to his friends about us all having crushes on him. What a bastard! No one was allowed to insult Brianna and Courtney except me. I took screenshots of his texts, sent them to myself, and deleted the chat history. Then I came to my sisters and showed them the evidence. Look what Loki thought of us while you've been throwing yourselves at him. But he gave me such beautiful gifts and asked me not to tell anyone about them. He even kissed me a few days ago and called me beautiful. I realized Loki was an even bigger jerk than I thought. He had been trying to make us all fall for him. And he almost succeeded, even with me. Girls, we can't let him get away with this. I suggested we teach Loki a lesson, and my sisters agreed without hesitation. Everyone thinks we are weird, but they don't know that there are witches in our family yet.
Help! No one will save you now.
Ah! Okay, I'm kidding. Of course that wasn't what happened. I stopped Loki when he was about to leave for the training session. I really need your help.
I'm running late.
It won't take long. We went to the library, and I asked Loki to walk into the closet.
Why? What's in there?
Brianna and Courtney were waiting for us in the closet. Before Loki could do anything, I pulled the phone out of his pocket. Have a great time. I hope you're not afraid of the dark. By the way, you suck at kissing. We quickly ran out of the closet. I turned off the light and locked the door.
Hey, open the door! Let me out, you wackos!
It's a shame your dad won't buy you a car now. Bye.
Loki only got out of the closet in the evening. We were about to leave for the airport. Loki, where have you been? It's all their fault. They locked me in the library. I have never heard such a ridiculous excuse in my life. I am very disappointed in you.
I told you so! It's the moon in Capricorn! Loki turned red as a lobster as he glared at me. Before getting into the car, I shoved a badge with the words Stinky Night into his hands. When we got home, I breathed a sigh of relief. But then,
That was a great trip. I have another good friend who lives in Mexico. We should visit him.
this is a great idea! Does he have a son? My sisters kept trying to find boyfriends, and Mom didn't stop making horoscopes or telling fortunes by the stars. I won the competition, but I'm not going to stop at that. I want to take part in the national competition. Maybe someday I will meet my soulmate. But for now, I only have a place in my heart for mathematics.